Good morning. Time to rise and shine. Just gonna grab my coffee real quick. As I open up, I'm gonna use these videos from live to post onto YouTube to have access to the live show after. So I just usually stand up nice and straight and start to align my spine and wake everything up, shifting weight into my feet, stretching out my toes and ankles and heels, starting to see my breathing pattern, feeling the exhale, pulling the tummy back, inhaling the cold air, exhaling the toxins, setting our purpose, thinking about what we did yesterday and what needs relief today, maybe what we need to lean into and what we need to breathe into, focus on the areas that have tightness. I'm Caroline. I am a fitness coach. I have been coaching for, Elsie's 11, so 11 years on paper, but I'm an athlete and I played sports and also was I'm a veteran, so I stayed fit to serve our country, and that's a big task, staying in shape for that. Okay, shifting weight into the feet, waking up the toes, the heels, lifting the toes up. When you lift the toes up, it helps pull in the balance into the core, so we're not using your up the toes, the heels, lifting the toes up. When you lift the toes up, it helps pull in the balance into the core, so we're not using your up the toes, the heels, lifting the toes up. When you lift the toes up, it helps pull in the balance into the core, so we're not using your up the toes, the heels, lifting the toes up. When you lift the toes up, it helps pull in the balance into the core, so we're not using your here we go, we're heels directly underneath the hips. We're just going to come up onto both toes and then slowly back down. Grabbing our hands, flexing and waking up our fingers because we're going to do some downward dogs and we're going to be using our hands to support our weight. So we're going to warm up our hands and go up onto our toes. Just taking your time when you relax down to exhale all your breath and then inhale and lift. So we're going to inhale and lift. We're going to exhale and release the tension. Start to let noise out, especially if you're alone. Stimulate the vagal nerve. And here we go. We are going to start by doing some body twisting. Slowly shifting knees and hips. And then other leg forward. Standing sideways, just shifting the shoulders just barely over the hips. Just a nice little tilt. Waking up that lower sacrum, that lower back. Lifting the toes up off the mat. Always finding balance without the toes unless you really need those to be walking. We're going to do a nice big inhale. Feet shoulder width. Inhale, lifting. Air all the way in. Hands together. Exhaling. Push the hands heated together. Activate the muscles in the back. Stimulate the chest and shoulders. One more time. Inhale. Open the chest. Reach out to the side walls. Hands up above. Exhale. One more time. 3 times. We're going to do everything 5 times. Exhale. Good morning. I'm Caroline. I am a fitness coach and I'm sharing my practice with everybody. So that's 3. Inhale, lift. 4. One more time. Everything we're going to do 5 times. Inhale, lift. setting your intention into the parts of your body that you've used the most. If you sit down a lot, we're going to focus on flexion. So if you're sitting down a lot, you're going to let go of that back. So we're going to work on some flexion. So we're going to work on the lower back and strengthening that lower back so that whenever you're sitting down, you start to sit up a little bit more erect. And if you stand a lot, we're going to be working on releasing the tension that's in the hips and doing some balance work. Speaking of balance work, that's what we're going to start off with. We are going to start off on our left foot. I'm going to tilt this down just a little bit. Good morning. I'm Caroline. Just taking you through a little bit of waking up the body and setting intention. So left foot down, and we're just going to lift up the right knee and slowly do some circles. Anything time you're a beginner, just focus on one thing, and right now that's balance. And we're just focusing on these nice circles, activating the glute in the back, activating the hip flexor in the front, coming up and just trying to use that. Open up that femur ball and socket joint. Inhale. That's 3. Inhale. Exhale. 4. Trying to get a little wider as we get bigger, as we get through our numbers. 5. Sitting down, both feet underneath the hips and tilting back and forth. Just paying attention to the difference in the hips, and this side's a little bit more awake than this side because we just stimulated our core. So here we go, right foot's down on the mat. We're going to lift up our left knee and we're going to do small little circles. Inhaling one direction. Exhale 2. Inhale. Exhale 3. Lifting the toes. Inhale. 4. 5. Here we go. Taking our feet, which is a little bit more than shoulder width apart. We're going to sit back, having our hands just barely above our heart, right in front of us. So we just want to have this shoulder, hip, ankle, knee alignment right here. And whenever we push our butt back, we want our knees not to go over top of our toes. That's it. Hands out in front of you for some stability and some balance. And we're just going to push the weight in our heels and lift the toes and slowly sit down just as far as you can. Inhale. Exhale. Pull the hands behind you and open the hips. And inhale. Down a little bit lower, toes lifted towards the ceiling. Pull the hands behind you. Pull the hips forward. Last one, 5. So 5 squats. We've done a little bit of balance work. This is all stimulated. We're now going to work on some body openers, feet shoulder width apart. We're going to take an inhale and we're going to lift our hands just right above our head. And we're going to grab on the outside of the left wrist, both heels just nice and dug in, hip alignment. And we're just going to slowly tilt over to the right side, opening up the tricep, the latissimus dorsi, and that scapula. You're pushing this hand, the left hand, in and away from the body. You're not just holding the stretch and holding your arm and waiting for it. You're activating into the stretch. So inhale. And as we inhale this time, we're going to lift. We're going to come back in. 2. 3. out your shoulders, roll. Wake up, front roll. And we're going to inhale and lift. Left hand outside of right wrist. Slowly dropping into a side body stretch. Activating the stretch by pushing the side of the hand into the right left hand. Come back to center. And 2. Back to center. And 3. Hi everyone, good morning. Jump on in, grab a mat, grab a towel. 4. 5. So now the side body's opened up, and we're going to take our hands just right behind our hips. Right behind our hips, and we're going to take shoulder, hip, knee, ankle alignment, and we're just going to pull these shoulders back behind us. Open up the chest. Relax. Pull the shoulders to the front of the room. And back to neutral. Set shoulder, knee, and hip alignment. And we're just going to roll the shoulder back. Pulling the scapula together. And back to neutral. And forwards. And neutral. And push the hands away from you this time. Rolling the elbows and shoulder blades together. Chest should feel nice and open. Front of the shoulders, top of the shoulders. And to the front. Last one. Open the chest. Hands behind you. Elbows together. And exhale. And forward. And backward. Okay, now before we do any lower back or hip anything, we're going to warm up our hips a little bit more. So we're going to do 5 more of those squats, and then we're going to do 5 deadlifts to make sure that hamstring is open up. So we're going to lift our toes up off the mat, hip, shoulder, knees, all aligned, hands out in front, and we're going to slowly sit back into a chair, pushing our hips back first, and then dropping down into a squat. 1, hands behind you. 2, inhale. And exhale, pulling the hands out behind you. 2. 3. 4. And 5. Last one. Walking the hips in a nice little circle. Inhale, exhale. We're going to go 5 each direction, and then we're going to do some deadlifts. With or without weight. You can grab some food, some cans of food, or weight if you have it. 3, 4, 5. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, here we go. We're going to do some deadlifts. Same thing. Hip, shoulder, knee alignment. Perfect, right? Toes lift up off the mat, weights in the heels. And I'm gonna grab a 25, actually I'm gonna grab 2 25-pound weights because I have been a cycle instructor and I've been working out for quite a long time. So I really want to warm up and activate my hamstrings, muscles behind us, perpetuate us forward, and pull those shoulders up so that you have this nice straight line of the shoulders. And we're standing sideways. I'm standing sideways to show you my form. Hands out in front of you. We're just gonna walk these weights right down our legs. We're gonna almost barely graze them, and we're gonna slowly tilt forward until we feel like, okay, that's far enough. 1, 2, I'm shaky. 3, 4. Wake up hips. Wake up hamstrings. There we go. Okay, now we're going to work on a forward fold. I'm going to put these over to the side. And we're going to come with our feet just underneath the hips, shoulders, hips, knees aligned. We're going to take a nice big inhale. And as we exhale, we're slowly going to fold forward using the hands as a balancer. Coming down, knees slightly bent. Using the hands as a nice little tool to slowly let go of the tension in this lower back. We're going to open up the hamstrings. Lift up the toes, activate the Achilles tendon and the gastrocnemius muscle. Slowly walking down the shins, feeling the tension release out of the lower back. Straightening one leg at a time. Come down to the middle of the shins. Lifting the toes, knees slightly bent. Come down to the feet if you can. If not, stay in each position that your body can take. These are just suggestions and showing you proper form. I'm going to go ahead and grab down onto the mat, shifting weight into each heel, and we're going to take and walk our feet around in a circle. We're going to go start to the left. We're going to use the mat for stability. Come put the weight into the toes, and then over to the sides, the left sides of our feet, slowly, nice in a nice circle. There's 1, over to the right side of the feet. Rotation, here we go, up into 2. This time we're going to lift our toes and push our weight into the pads of our knuckles of our joints of our toes. Over to the right sides of the feet. Weight back into the heels. Great work. Right side of the feet. This time, number 3, we're going to go push our toes down wide. Widen the toes, big octopus toes. Over to the left. Sides of the feet, like you're on skis, back into the heels. Slowly letting your breath find you. And lifting the toes into the heels. 4. And last one, 5. Now we're going to go the other direction, over to the left. Same thing, move at your own speed because you're already warm from the other direction. Nice big inhales and exhales. Breathing in fresh air and out toxins. Over to the right side of the feet, into the heels. Over into the sides of the feet, pads. Shifting the weight. Okay, now we're going to walk our hands back to our feet. Up to our shins. Take a nice big inhale. We're going to take a nice flat back. And this time as we exhale, we're just going to find the mat. There's 1. Inhale, lift. 2. Finding your breath. 3. Inhale, lift. 5. And inhale, lift. And exhale, fold. Last one. Inhale, lift. And exhale, fold. And there's our first forward fold. And now we're going to come in to a plank position. So we're just going to put our heels of our hands down on the mat. Welcome, friends. I'm Caroline, fitness coach, health connoisseur. So if you want to start down on your knees, start in a tabletop position. Hands are going to go directly underneath the shoulders. Knees are directly under the hips, toes tucked up underneath the shins. And we are going to go ahead and tuck our toes and come up into a plank. Finding the proper alignment. So you're going to push back and make sure your feet are back towards the back of the mat and that your hands are directly up underneath your shoulders. We're just going to do our first plank. Activate the lower back. We just stretched it out. So now we're going to work on that strength. If you sit a lot, this position right here, staying in this position, will help you sit up more erect. Now we're going to take these circles to the left side. 3, 4, 5. Shifting the weight into the hands. Slow circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to drop the knees, keeping those toes curled up underneath. We're going to push back and sit down on top of our Achilles. We're just going to let those toes open up. We're going to do some work on our feet right here. Walking the toes back and forth each way like this, with the toes curled underneath your hips. See how I'm using the weight from my hips into my feet? And now we're going to push back into a child's pose. So feet are going to come flat down on the ground, flat onto the mat. And the hands are going to be directly underneath us. And we're just going to push our hips back with those flat feet sitting on top of our ankles. Hips on top of the ankles. Hands directly out in front of you, nice and wide. You're going to activate the back by pushing your hands into the mat. And we're going to drop our forehead into the mat, taking 5 rounds of a breathing exercise. So you're just going to fill up your lungs and expel and pull your tummy all the way into the back wall. 5. 4. 'Inhale. 2. Last one. We're going to bring our hands back underneath our shoulders before we push up. So then we're going to push our weight up, and we're slowly going to pull our hips up over our knees. We're going to come into a tabletop position, and now we're going to work a little bit more on that lower back. So we're going to come into that perfect tabletop so that everything is aligned. to 90-degree angles, and we are going to lift our right knee up off the ground and hold. Our hips are exactly parallel with the ground. You are nice and balanced, flat back, not opened up, and you're not sagging down. Nice, proper alignment. These hands are here for support, stimulating that lower back. Taking 5 rounds of breath, probably 2 more breaths. Stimulating that lower back and strengthening. And go ahead and drop the knee down. We're going to go ahead and rock in some circles. And come into proper alignment, left side. Inhale, lift. Exhale, making sure that the hips are squared off to the mat and that your back is flat, hips are parallel with the ground. Last one. Now we're going to come onto our sit bones. So taking your time to come down onto your mat or your floor, wherever you're at. And we're going to sit nice and tall. Hips and shoulders. Neck aligned so that our spine is nice and erect. And we're going to sit up nice and tall. We're just going to do a nice little relaxing breathing reset of the core, reset of our alignment. It is an exercise to sit up tall. So we're just going to sit up nice and tall. And we're going to start to, you can hold onto your knees, use those where you can work with just whatever flow that you would like. We're just going to keep this nice erect, perfect alignment. And we're just going to visit all of the muscles in our back and in our core, pulling the tummy back into the back wall, massaging the organs, just moving freely in a slow range of motion, no big movements, just a nice wake-up call. Good morning, I'm Caroline. I've been coaching for 10 years on paper, a lot longer than that on not paper. So just making sure to check in your mirror or camera for your proper alignment. Now we're going to start to sway from back and forth. And those sit bones are on the ground, but what you're doing is shifting the weight in the glutes. And you're massaging your glutes from whatever work you might have done yesterday. Nice big breaths. There we go, there's 5 rounds of breaths. Feeling nice and aligned, nice and tall. We're going to come back into tabletop. We're going to do one more lower back exercise. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull our knee up and touch our elbow. We're going to start off with the left side this time since we started off with the right side last time. So we're just going to bring that left knee to the elbow, and we're just going to push our leg back straight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looking for followers and likes. I appreciate your time and your energy. We're going to drop that knee directly under the hip. We're going to do the right side. Inhale. And exhale, pushing back straight. Going to be doing 2 rounds of exercises each day. 4, 5. Bringing that knee back down to the floor. This time we're going to do a child's pose, and our feet are going to come together right behind our hips. Knees are going to come wide. You see how my feet are touching in the back, and they're flat on the mat. We're going to have our hands here for stability, and we're going to push our feet, our hips back over our feet, waiting until our nice wide child's pose. You can come to the widest part of the mat if you would like that release, or you can start a little bit just at your shoulders. Though we don't want to do an inner child's pose, we just did that one. So just a little bit wider than you did before. And we're going to have our hands slowly walking out. And we're going to slowly lift or bring our chest down towards the mat. Hands are nice and wide. And like last time, we're going to push our hands into the mat, drawing our elbows down towards the floor, rolling the shoulders down towards the floor. Head hits the mat, 5 breaths, pushing it into the mat. Inhale. And exhale. Last breath. Pulling the hands up underneath the shoulders and lifting the chest slowly. And we're going to come back onto our sit bones. So hips and shoulders and knees are aligned. And we're going to push back into a hamstring stretch. So heels are in line with the hips, nice straight back. Just going to sit up tall for a few seconds and let the body open up. Activate the core, shoulders back. And as we exhale, we're just slowly going to rock our shoulders towards our knees. 3 more breaths. Reaching out a little further each time. Rolling the ankles and the toes. Last breath. Slowly walking back up to an erect position, putting your hands right behind your hips for support. We're going to take our right ankle and put it on top of our left knee and let that hip open up. And then we're slowly going to draw that heel towards the buttocks. And we're going to come into a glute stretch, hip and glute stretch. This is where you want to pay attention to your alignment. Everybody's body's different, so you want to, if you need to go wide, that means that your outside hip is really tight. If you are more in, this is going to get more of that middle of the glute. If you bring your leg all the way over, you're going to still get that outside of that leg and that hip, but you're going to get that IT band a little bit more. 5 rounds of breaths, just taking your time and pulling that tummy towards that thigh, shoulders to the back of the room. Lifting the toes, digging the heel in, activating that glute a little. Two more breaths. Last one. Slowly inching that foot out to a straight position. We're going to pull that knee up into the middle of our chin. We're going to take the left elbow to the right knee, put that right hand behind the shoulders, and what we're going to work on is pulling this back shoulder to the back wall, front shoulder towards the side wall. So a slow, nice rotation. I'm going to take 5 breaths and slowly push more into the side wall. Inhale. And exhale all the air out of your lungs. Pull the tummy into the back wall, or into the back wall of your your spine. And inhale, relax. And exhale towards the side wall. Inhale. And exhale, twisting towards the side wall. Last one. Slowly untwisting, coming into balance, dropping that knee, pushing back out. Second forward fold. Here we go, hands underneath the knees. We're going to take a nice big inhale, pulling that tummy toward back is nice and aligned. Inhale. Exhale, roll the shoulders towards the knees. Inhale. Exhale, relax. Wiggle the toes around. Inhale. Exhale, relax. Slowly coming up into alignment. Hands come right behind the hips. Left ankle on top of right knee, waiting for that hip to wake up. And slowly bring the heel towards the buttocks, coming into a hip stretch. 5 rounds of breath. Inviting in all of the good intentions you have for your day and exhaling out all the toxins. 2 more breaths. Last one. We're slowly going to inch that foot out in front of us. And we're just going to come into a slow little pretzel move. Pulling that knee underneath the chin. Right elbow to right knee or left knee. We're just going to inhale. And pull that front shoulder towards that side wall and this back shoulder towards that back wall. Exhale all the air out. Inhale. Let that shoulder go. Exhale. Inhale, relax. And exhale, twisting towards the side wall. Last one. Slowly coming into a wide angle pose. This one is where a lot of people are tight, so you want to grab whatever you have around you and put it up under your hips. So we're just going to work on this groin a little bit. So we're going to grab onto our ankles wherever they are, and we're slowly going to inch our hips towards our heels of our hands. And how you do that is slowly just walk each side in until you feel the nice groin. Feel like you're walking on this edge of, is that tight, or is, I just don't want to be in pain, I just really want this relaxation to eventually open me up. That's where you want to walk, is right at that relaxation point where you have to work for the relaxation to happen. So we're just going to touch our feet and our heels and our hands and give our feet some love. We're just going to work on this angle of letting these knees relax towards the floor and rolling the hips towards the feet. Inhale and exhale, relax those knees. Maybe pulling the feet closer to the hips. If you're a little bit more flexible, rolling the hips out towards the feet. So you see how you don't want your back rolled back. You want your hips rolled forward. Relaxing those knees. Inhale. Roll the hips forward. And exhale, relax the knees. One more. And And now we're going to relax into this stretch. We're going to C-shape our back. So we're just going to let our back roll out into a C-shape, using our feet for support. And grab onto the middle of our shins. Slowly rocking back and forth. We're going to lean back and roll out our glutes. However you can balance, it doesn't matter. What you want to focus on for this glute is actually just visiting every part of that glute muscle. And so, however silly you might feel that and just laugh at yourself, because it's really important to release this biggest muscle in your body. And you're still working on that groin, right? Because your hips are still open. So we are going to just visit that glute and say, hello, beautiful big muscle in my body that supports all of my strength. For proper alignment, I would like to use you properly. Thank you for being my back and calm. And as we're coming up, we're going to roll those hips back forward and get the front part of the glute, that attachment point right there, rolling back and forth. And we're slowly going to release our spine to a C shape, get back onto that sacrum. Now we're going to lift our feet if you can and roll out that side glute all the way along the sacrum. So the sacrum is a V shape like this, and our glute attaches here to the sacrum. So we're here on this glute, and we want to roll out that attachment point. So however you need to do that, we're going to lift our feet and we're going to roll back onto that sacrum. We feel the tension of that glute and that attachment point. That's the biggest muscle attaching to our biggest tension point in our body, is that big, huge attachment point from the hips, from the gluteus maximus to the sacrum onto the other side, taking your time to feel silly and visit that glute. And pushing back up, saying good morning, body. We're going to come back up. We're going to fold our feet into an easy position. We're just going to work on proper alignment. We're going to activate the core just to sit up straight and say, hey, body, this is what you're supposed to look like. This is what you're supposed to feel like. And pay attention to that sacrum, how that feels. Hopefully you have some relief from the lower back exercises, the activation, and then the stretching. I'm going to have to get off of here because I have to go to work. So we're going to inhale and exhale 5 rounds of breath. Just sitting nice and tall. Hands up towards the sun. Activating energy for the day. 3 more breaths. 2 more breaths. And 1 more breath. Last thing. Cat-cow. We didn't do cat-cow, so I want to do cat-cow before you got to drive anywhere. Hands underneath the shoulders, underneath the chest. So we're just going to release our back slowly towards the mat. Tummy towards the mat. And then as we exhale, all the air out of our stomach, out of our lungs, push it all out. We're going to roll into a C shape. Cat. Meow. There's 1 full round. Exhale. Inhale. Lift. And exhale all the air out. 3 more. Two more. Rolling the hips towards the elbows. Pushing the hips out towards the sky. Last one. Alright, friends, do you guys have any questions? I'm going to take a nice little round of any questions that anybody might have for me before I pop off. Oh, you like it when I activate energy. Okay, this is beautiful. Connection points to every part of your body are in your hands and your feet. So we'll do this together. We're going to put our feet together and connect our circuits. Rub the hands together, hand, heart, energy. Get your hands nice and warm. The electricity is flowing and right onto the heart. Charge your heart with your hands. Connect the circle, the circuit. Heart, brain, gut, energy connection. Back to the energy in the hands. Hands are charged with heart. Heart is charged with hands. Toes together, yes. Right onto the gut. So we're going to connect our love energy to our processing center for our nutrients, to give us the nutrients we need to sustain this beautiful growth and development. Hands, heart, stomach, connected energy in the hands. Here we go. Right to our voice box. Speaking love energy, wholeness, nutrition, feeding the soul, mind, body, and spirit. Hands back together. Now, third eye chakra, brain, processing center. Connect all the pieces to the smartest tool in your box. Sort out the energy. There we go. Finding peace and love in your day. Hopefully you feel better. And I'm going to upload this to YouTube. It's Team Falcon 8 on YouTube. It is on my About. If you follow CB Star 8, that's my screen name. I will be doing 2 workouts a day until January 1st, and then I start a strength program that I'm going to upload, and then that's going to be a part of a 16-week series of starting to work on strength and then endurance and then speed. We're going to get faster and better, but we're going to work on strength first, and then we're going to work on our heart's energy. We're going to take and stimulate our heart a little bit more as we have more access to the sun, and then we're going to just go fast and enjoy the access we have to energy from the sun for our summertime. Typically by March, we are ready for a walk, a 5K, 3K, 2K, whatever you have energy for, just your best you. After 16 weeks, we just put forth our best effort into the next round of exercises, which is going to be directly focused on another group of progression. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'm signing off.